Hi OTC foodies, welcome to my kitchen again. All right, so today we have something a little bit different. You can see I've got my Georgia Bulldogs sweatshirt on, so it's football season, yay. And I know that holidays are coming up, so kids are gonna be home and you're gonna have to figure out what to cook for them. And so I thought I would create something that is easy to put together, kids are gonna love, you're gonna love it as well. All the ingredients are easy to find, and we're gonna utilize something that we don't think of very often. And that is going to be our egg roll wrappers here. So today I'm gonna make something very similar to the McDonald's apple pie, and then to the pizza roll-ups. What is it? The little pizza bites that the kids are always wanting. So stay with me. This is going to be a little bit longer video, and I'm going to be using a specific piece of equipment. So I'm going to be using an air fryer today, but I will tell you how to modify if you don't have one, and we're going to talk about that when we get to it. All right, so we're going to start the apple portion first because it's going to take the longest. So I'm only going to cut up and dice one apple. Now you need to make sure that you cut this into smaller bites because they are going in the egg roll, and if it's too big, it's gonna just be hard to eat. So just smaller pieces here. And I did leave the skin on. I just like that on my apples. And I'm using a Granny Smith here. Now, if you have kids at the house, this is something they can help you with, not the cutting of course, but they can help you with the assembling. And they can also help you eat it. All right, so I just kind of cut around the core on the apple, and I'm just cutting it into pieces here and then dicing it into small pieces. And this is gonna be cooked just for a few minutes. I really don't want it to be too soft, but I do want it to be a little cooked so that it's not too hard. All right. So we've got some nice diced pieces here, pretty evenly diced. All right, so we're gonna put this in our pot. I have just a little skillet here. And I don't want this too sweet. I'm not going to add very much liquid to it, just a little bit of butter. I don't want it to be too soggy or have too much moisture in it because then it's not going to work well with the egg roll skin. All right, so here I've got my apples. I'm going to turn it on to medium-high heat. I have half a teaspoon of cinnamon and about a quarter teaspoon of nutmeg in here. And then I have about half a teaspoon of butter. And then this is a third cup of sugar. Now you can reduce that if you'd like. And we're just going to stir this in. And this is going to take a few minutes to cook down. And those apples are going to start softening and releasing their own liquids, so we don't have anything else that we need to add in there. That butter is going to start breaking down as well. I like using apples just because it's so versatile, and you have several different varieties to choose from. They're not an expensive fruit as well, and they're pretty hardy in the refrigerator, so you can keep them in the refrigerator for a while. And I personally love apple pie. And I was trying to come up with recipes, and then I was thinking, well, you know, Thanksgiving is coming up. Kids are going to be home. I know my son is coming home from college. And a lot of times you get, Mom, there's nothing in the house to eat. You know, so you end up stocking the refrigerator, freezer full of the fast food that kids like to eat. And so I thought, well, let's come up with something that they'll enjoy, and it's not your typical food out of a bag or out of a box. All right, so you can see the sugar has dissolved. We've got just a little bit of liquid in the bottom there. And everything is starting to cook down just a little bit. So we're gonna let this simmer for a minute or two. We want it to soften up a little bit. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit on the heat. All right, so I'm gonna come back to that. So come on over here, let's get our pizza rolls ready. All right, so I had to experiment with this recipe and find, I guess, a good technique for this. My first go around at this recipe ended up with just blobs of cheese and pepperoni, and it really was not very appetizing. I really wanted something that was going to be easy to eat and kind of have, I guess, everything incorporated so that you would get a nice even bite with everything. So then I had to play around with it a little bit. I played around with some pizza sauce inside of it, and then some without it, and it still didn't work. It was still just a lump of cheese. So then I decided, well, Pizza Pockets, they have everything kind of minced up. So why not mince it up and see how that goes? All right, so I did 1 stick of cheese for 1 egg roll. So right now I just diced up 2 cheese sticks, so that's gonna do 2 egg roll wrappers. And now I'm gonna get my pepperoni. And I'm gonna use about, I guess maybe about 4 or 5 pieces per egg roll. So that's more than enough, I think. And we're gonna dice this as well. And all this is really easy to find. Your egg rolls you'll find in the produce section of the grocery store. Just look over there where they have like your Asian food items such as kimchi and stuff like that, and you will find your egg roll wrappers. They are perishable, so make sure you keep them in the refrigerator. Just a few more pieces here. All right, now before I start assembling, I've got to go prime my air fryer. Now, if you have an air fryer, you know what it's all about. And for the longest time, I decided, well, I didn't want something that was going to just stick in my kitchen and just take up space. And then I got one. And it's changed my life, really it has in the kitchen. All right. So this you have to prime, so you need to turn it on. And we want to prime it at 390 degrees for about 3 minutes. Always follow the manual instructions. All right. This is going to get this ready for cooking. All right. So we're going to assemble our first egg roll wrapper. Now I have a little thing of water right here. You can't tell there's water in there, but there is. And the trick to this is taking your egg roll wrapper and you want to angle it towards you. So you want to make sure you have an angle pointing towards you. Now in my bowl here, you can see I've got my diced mozzarella and pepperoni. And I use the stick because it's drier. It's got less moisture than if you were to grate mozzarella, fresh cheese. It would have a lot of moisture in it, and that's really not what we want. I'm going to put in about 2 big spoonfuls of pizza sauce. Now we don't want so much in there that it's going to get really soggy, but we want just enough in there that we're going to have a little moisture in it and a little flavor. All right. So next we're going to lay it right here in the center. I'm going to take about half of the mixture. All right, then we're going to take the water and we're going to moisten the sides here. We're just going to do this upper half of the triangle up here. All right, now you want to take this corner facing you, pull it across, and then kind of like squeeze the contents down. It's kind of like doing a burrito. And then roll the edges in, and then roll it up. And then I take a little water and then seal it up. So there you go. We've got one nice little pizza roll up there. So let's do one more. Again, pointing towards me. Water along the edges up here. Pull it, smush it back. Take the sides, tuck them in, tuck it in, and then roll it. There you go. And there are 2 egg rolls. All right, so our timer's just gone off. Our air fryer is nice and primed. Now, if you don't want to air fry, you can also fry it in oil. You would cook it at a temperature of about 350 degrees. Your oil is 355 for, I guess, about 4 or 5 minutes until they're nice golden brown. All right, so come on over here with me. All right, we're gonna turn our apples off while we're passing by. So you can see we've got a basket in here, and I'm just going to place, be very careful, it's extremely hot, my pizza roll-ups in the basket. All right, now we're going to turn it on. I have it set for 375 degrees, and we're going to set it for about 6 minutes. Now about halfway through, I'm going to come back and check on it and see how it's doing and flip them. You want to make sure you turn them over so that way they're brown on both sides. All right, so there we have our pizza pockets. Those are being cooked right now, so we're going to put this to the side. And then we're going to talk about our egg roll desserts. So you can see our apples have cooked down. There is a little liquid in there, so I probably will make sure I don't pull too much of that liquid because I just don't want our egg rolls to get too wet and they're going to fall apart. So this is going to cool off for a few minutes, and we're just going to set it here and let it cool. And then we're going to go check on our egg rolls. All right, so our air fryer here, this is a Ninja Max, and I'm not promoting any product at all. This is what we happened to pick. It's got a lot of neat features on it. You can max crisp, like if you're doing French fries. You can air fry, air roast, air broil, and you can change the temperatures in it. You can also adjust the time. And this has really saved me a lot of time in the kitchen. I can throw like some chicken breast in there and have 2 chicken breasts cooked perfectly in about 12 minutes. I can also do some homemade fries or frozen French fries, vegetables. Brussels sprouts take no more than 20 minutes in it as well. So it's a really nice investment. It is a little bulky, but considering the trade-off for the amount of time and dishes used in the kitchen, that's really not too bad. All right, so it's been cooking for about 2 minutes. So if you want to come over here, and we're going to pause it and then take a look at it and see what it looks like. So hit that pause button, and you can see they're starting to get nice and brown, but we're going to let them cook a little bit more and then we'll turn them over. All right, so these are cooking, and we'll flip them over in about another minute. So the next videos that I'm looking at doing is something that you can fix quick, that you can throw together in case you have company coming over. I know the holidays are coming up, and sometimes we have those unexpected guests, or maybe you have expected guests and you just want to put some things together. Well, I'm going to show you a really quick appetizer and a really quick cookie and a breakfast item using only one specific item that you can keep in your freezer at all times. And it really has multiple purposes in the kitchen. So stay tuned for that. And then also a recipe for Thanksgiving dressing. So I know a lot of people use the stovetop box. That's great. I did it for years. It's very quick and easy, but I want to show you how you can make your own at home, and it tastes just as good, if not better, than what you can get out of the box. All right, so let's pause this and turn these over. All right. Now I'm going to add probably another minute to that. All right, and let that finish off. Okay, I think these are probably about cool enough now. All right, so I'm going to take my egg roll wrapper, and let me get a spoon. All right, so again, same concept. We really do want the angle facing towards us, and then we're just going to take a nice spoonful of apples and place it in the center. And wet the sides. Now these you can fix ahead of time and keep in the refrigerator. The apples I would probably not do ahead of time just because you don't want the egg roll wrappers falling apart. But the pizza roll-ups, you could definitely assemble those ahead of time and then just kind of put them in the refrigerator and then cook them off as it gets closer to time. There's one. And we've got another one we're going to put together. All right, I hear my pizza roll-ups talking to me over there. Okay, so let's go check on those. Oh yeah. All right, so you can see we've got our pizza roll-ups, and that cheese is nice and bubbly, and that looks really hot right now. So we're gonna let it sit for just a second. And now I'm gonna take my apple and I'm gonna put them in. All right, those are going in for only about 5 minutes, just because I don't have to worry about the cheese. The contents are already cooked, so we just really want to cook the egg roll wrapper. All right, so let's take a look at what our pizza roll looks like on the inside. Yummy goodness, look at that. We've got our cheese, we've got our pepperoni, And then we've got our pizza sauce. Now you serve that with a side of pizza sauce to dip it in, and you'll be good to go. And that is how we do pizza roll-ups from Homemade. Those look really good. They'll be great for game day. All right. Those apple roll-ups or apple pies should be done in just a second, and then I'm going to show you a nice little treat that you can also do with these. Now if you want, you can just eat them as they are, maybe a little caramel sauce to dip them in. You could roll them in some butter and sprinkle some cinnamon sugar on it, kind of like a churro style. But I'm going to show you something else that really is going to elevate these apple pies. On these. Give them a nice turn. All right, so we're going to be back in about 3 minutes, so check on back and we'll pull those out and I'll show you a really nice treat that we're going to have tonight. All right, so our apple dumplings have finished cooking. The timer just went off, so I'm going to bring them over here and then I'll show you what we're going to do. Okay, wish you could smell the kitchen because it smells like cinnamon right now. All right, so we are going to elevate this dessert. I'm going to take some vanilla ice cream. Let's do 2 scoops because I don't feel like I'm going to share with my husband tonight. That'll be nice. Oh, these are not going to sit up, are they? Okay. And now we're going to finish it off with some caramel syrup. Now, if that doesn't look amazing and decadent, I don't know what does. And something very simple, quick and easy. All you need are some egg roll apples, and look what we can do. So hope you've enjoyed this. And if you want to change up the ingredients on the inside, you can. For the pizza rolls, if you wanted to do ham and Swiss and maybe throw in some really finely chopped broccoli, that would be great as well. That's the nice thing. They're really versatile. Just remember, keep the filling on the small side. If you put too much in there, it's all going to come out of the ends. So if you don't want to air fry it, then you can fry it in oil. Just be very careful with that. I don't like to do oil because there's a tendency to get burned. Or you could bake it in the oven, but you're not going to have the nice results like you are if you air fry it or if you fry it in oil. So hope you have enjoyed eating with me tonight, and I will see you soon. Ciao.